Okay, this presentation is titled Das Mahavidya, 10 Goddesses and Wisdoms, Yantra and Mantra. Here are some notes. We are all familiar with yantras. Has anybody heard of yantra?
I have not.
Okay. Yantras are beautiful geometric diagrams, and they are unique to a specific goddess or god. So I call them as circuit diagrams of a god. So they are used to meditate and to invoke the goddess and pray upon it. It is a tantric path. One way to pray is that you do regular prayers, keeping the statue in front of you, the regular one. Then there are some secret methods of invoking goddess by using these diagrams. And it's a very well structured system. So these are called as yantra. Yantra literally means instrument. It's the Sanskrit term for the word instrument. So the yantras given herein are only indicative, which means that for a goddess, you may see a slightly different yantra in some book and you'll say, hey, but Tarun told me that the yantra is like this. The variations might be possible. Actually, for each goddess, there are more than one yantra in different stages of development. In the Tibetan Buddhism, these yantras are known as mandalas. And Dalai Lama conducts a ceremony called Kal Chakra once in 7-8 years. And Tibetans believe that if you attend one Kal Chakra ceremony in your lifetime, the purpose of your birth is done. You can go away now. So it is that important ceremony. Yantras are relevant due to their shapes and cardinal directions. When I say directions, it means like suppose I make a square. So the top right corner of a square is northeast angle. So each shape has corners which are actually directions. There are alphabets are also used to describe yantras and in the meditation. Triangle represents 3 points: Satvik, Rajasic, and Tamasic. In the Word file that I put on the password protected web page of the website, there's a description of these 3 terms: Satvik, Rajasic, and Tamasic. You can refer to them. But the third triangle denotes fire. It's a masculine connotation relevant to Shiva. The downward triangle, upside down triangle with the point, sharp point down, is Shakti, which means power, is feminine. The circle represents air, and the dot in the center represents ether or space. In the Indian system, there are 5 elements: fire, air, ether, this is space, fire, air, space, water, and earth. Generally, in the West, we talk of 4. Air and space are considered to be 1. So this is a representation. Another shape that you will see in the yantras is the group of 8 lotus petals. So when you do this meditation upon this yantra, you do description of each goddess. You do a recitation by touching these. When you make this yantra, you touch these each petal and make a meditation. In some yantras, there is a group of 16 lotus petals also. By making those 16 lotus petals, you invoke the powers of 16 powers of the goddess. It is said that when you, we will come to mantras and I'll talk about it. The last is the bhupur. The last element of the design is kind of a square. After the circles, triangles, and everything, every yantra has a square, kind of a square you see here. This is called bhupur. It has 4 gates. This is a gate, kind of a gate, which are guarded by divine guards. The purpose of the bhupur is twofold. One purpose of the bhupur is that when you are invoking the goddess, inviting the goddess to come here, and the power of the goddess is getting manifested, that power should not leak, should not dissipate, go away. So that's why these guards are there. This is about the This is about the yantra. Now we come to any questions on yantra? Okay. We come to mantra. Now there's a problem with mantra. In the Western system in Europe and America, everything in India, most of the words which end in a consonant, the alphabet A is added, like yoga becomes yoga. There's no word called yoga in India or in Sanskrit language. In all of the ancient scriptures, it is mentioned as yoga, not yoga. Or Krishna, not Krishna. Ram, not Rama. Ramayan, not Ramayana. Similarly, the mantras are sounds, divine sounds. Some of them may have a dictionary meaning, like, and many of the mantras may not have any meaning at all, like Om. Om is a basic mantra, it does not have a dictionary meaning, it's a sound. The essence of mantra is in the sound. So you have to pronounce it appropriately. If you don't pronounce it appropriately, and for Das Mahavidya, the goddess manifests the moment her name is spoken, her mantra is spoken, she comes. But if you don't do it rightly, then it is of no use by calling it mantra. So we should learn to call it mantra, not mantra. That long R should not be there. There was a king who used to prepare to do fire ceremony when his children were born, and all of his children used to die after birth. In the fire ceremony, the priest would say, "Please chant after me, Raksho, Raksho." But he would chant slightly different, Bhaksho, Bhaksho. So the fire ceremony means that please protect. Raksho, Raksho means protect. But he was pronouncing it wrongly, and it appeared as if he's saying kill, kill. So that's how all his children were dying. So pronunciations are critical in mantras. The mantras are of three kinds: Vedic, Tantric, Purana. I'll not go into what these three kinds are. This will be another discussion. But what happens is that some mantras have dictionary meaning as well. Like the mantra we do in the beginning of sessions, in the end of the sessions. Sometimes we add a prefix or a suffix, like Mr. Tarun Kumar. Mr. Tarun Kumar, and I can add some suffix. I don't know what I can add, but something after my name. My name is Tarun Kumar, but I can add a prefix, Mr. Honorable, like that. Or Esquire after my name, Tarun Kumar Esquire. So this prefix is known as Shir. Shir means head. And an example of prefix is Om. So to many mantras before you can add Om. Om Ganeshaya Namah, Om Ganpate Namah, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Bhagavati Namah, like this. You can add Om. Om doesn't have its own meaning, but you can add to it. And you can end some mantra with something which is a suffix, which is called as Pallav. Pallav means leaf or petal. It is an adornment to the mantra. And it is an example is Swaha, Pat, Hum. So these are the suffixes. So Vedic mantras necessarily begin with Om. You cannot have a mantra without Om in the Vedic mantras, and you have, but they cannot end into the sounds of Swaha, Pat, Hum. These are powerful sounds, generally associated with the different kinds of mantra, which are tantric mantra. So the next mantra is Tartik mantra. They begin with Om, but they have to end with these sounds. So Vedic mantra and Tantric mantra are different to each other. One cannot end with Swaha sound, the other has to end with Swaha sound. And third kind of mantras are Puranic mantra. In this mantra, we can add prefix or suffix depending upon the need. So it is possible that you can chant the same mantra in three different ways, but it will be inappropriate to do it if you don't do it rightly. Mantras are of three kinds based upon the pallav, the suffix. Masculine, which is ending in fat, tha, tha. And this gives fast results. to what you are trying to do. You are asking goddess to come for a certain purpose. And then feminine, which end with Saha, Sudha, and then there are neutral, which are ending in Nama. If you don't have a good guide with you, it is better to stay neutral and use add Nama, because it's like taking a medicine. If you take strong medicine, but it is the wrong medicine, then you will have bad effects. So it's better to take a mild medicine, not have early results, have slow results, but at the same time you are safe. This is an essential point about mantra. We come to the first goddess, Kali. This is her yantra, the instrument, a square, circle, another circle, 3 circles, and downward triangle, which is symbolic of feminine power. So many downward triangles. In all of these yantras, the 10 yantras that we are going to see today, you can count how many downward triangles are there, how many upward are there. Almost all of them will be downward, pointing downward. Her mantra, her Mool mantra is a basic mantra. So the goddess can have, if you think of simple mantras, Kali may have 8 or 9 different mantras, which are like one syllable mantra, 3 syllable mantra, 4 syllable mantra, 7 syllable mantra, and like that. So amongst all of those mantras from Kali, one mantra is called as Mool mantra, which is the basic mantra. It is Om Kreng Kreng Kreng, Om Hom Hing, Ring Dakshine Kalike, Kreng Kreng Kreng, Om Hom Ring Ring Saha, Om Kreng Kreng Kreng, Om Hom Ring Ring Dakshine Kalika, Kreng Kreng Kreng, Om Hom Ring Ring Saha, Om Kreng Kreng, Om Hom Ring Ring Dakshine Kalika, Kreng Kreng Kreng, Om Hom Ring Ring Saha. That's the basic mantra. Then there's another mantra which is 1 syllable mantra. This is good enough. If you do simple mantra also, Kreng, Om Kreng, Om Kreng, Om Kreng. This is good enough. It's not. Otherwise, there are, when the sadhaks do prayers and when they are invoking the goddess to come, then there are long yantra mantras are there running into 16 pages, 800 lines, and there are various possibilities. One is called kavach, a shield. That is one set of mantra. Then there are stotrams. There are different classes of mantras associated with goddess, and a typical meditation takes a long time. When you are starting the meditation, you protect yourself, create a force field around you so that no harm is caused to you. When you are invoking the goddess, the wrong powers can also come in. Uninvited guests may come in. And so this is why protection is the first thing. And then you continuously have to chant. When you make the diagram of a triangle, then you chant something. So there is a particular method to do it. But I thought of giving you a flavor here. The next goddess is Tara. You can see her yantra, Bhupur, the square thing, circle, lotus petals, triangle. Her Mool mantra, the basic mantra is Om Hring Sring Hum Fat. Om Hring Sring Hum Fat. Om Hring Sring Hum Fat. This is a very powerful mantra ending with T sound. There is also a 1 syllable mantra for the goddess Tara. Not every goddess has a single syllable mantra. Many of them have, and it is Trim. Om Trim, Om Trim, Om Trim. We come to Shodashi. The yantra of Shodashi is the most beautiful yantra of any yantra that you can see. There are hundreds of yantras for different gods and goddesses. This is the most intricate one and most beautiful one. And in India, because the system that we are discussing just now is an esoteric kind of a secret system, which is not commonly available to people. And then it requires a certain method to use them. But this is the only yantra of all the hundreds and thousands of yantra, which is a very powerful one and a very kind yantra. You can have a yantra, Shri yantra, which is energized by somebody, and keep it in your home. You don't need to pray to goddess to get powers or to seek blessings. Normally, you need to pray to get blessings, whatever god you're talking about. But when you install a Shri yantra in your home, it automatically brings good energy, happy energy, and there is no problem with that. Children can look at it. It's a very nice and benign yantra. It's called Shri yantra, and if you put it in the entrance of your doorway and the entrance of the gate, facing the gate. It is the goddess Shodashi is also known as Lalita. This yantra is quite common and popular in India. You can find it everywhere. The basic mantra called Mool mantra of this goddess is Om Aim Hring Hring Tripur Sundariya Namaha. Om Aim Hring Hring Tripur Sundariya Namaha. Om Aim Hrim Shrim Tripur Sundariya Namaha. Tripur Sundari means is another name for the goddess Shodashi. Tripur Sundari, the beautiful amongst the three words. That is the meaning of Tripur Sundari. There is another, the shortest mantra for the goddess is not a single syllable mantra, but the short mantra is, which is more popular actually, and it's easy to remember. Ain Soh Klim, Ain Soh Klim, Ain Soh Klim. This is in most prayers, most functions, this yantra is used in India. Bhubaneswari is the next yantra. And Bhubaneswari's birth anniversary is today. Tonight is a full moon night. Is it a full moon night for you guys also? No, it's a day for you actually. It's daytime. I can see it at Sharon's back. It is bright light outside her room. It's night time for me, and it's a full moon night. And tonight is the birth anniversary of Bhubaneswari. This is 3 circles, 2 triangles, and in most cases, you can't see in this diagram, but in most cases, for Bhubaneswari yantra, a 3rd triangle, upside down triangle is also made like this. Not here, but otherwise you can see. Bhairavi yantra. A basic mantra, the mood mantra is Om Hring Bhairavi Klang Hring Saha. Om Hring Bhairavi Klang Hring Saha. Om Hring Bhairavi Klang Hring Saha. There is a 3-syllable mantra for her, which you can see here. Hasring, Haskling, Hastra, like that. Chinnamasta, the goddess who has cut her own head and feeding blood to her companions. This is a yantra with the Bhupur, 8 lotus petals, triangle. And it's her mantra here. Shring, Ving, Kling, Yang, Vajra, Vairachiniya, Hum, Hum, Fat, Swaha. Shring, Ving, Kling, Yang, Vajra, Vairachiniya, Hum, Hum, Fat, Swaha. Shring, Ving, Kling, Yang, Vajra, Vairachiniya, Hum, Hum, Fat, Swaha. There's a single syllable mantra, very simple one. Hum, hum, hum. Dhumavati. Dhum means smoke. Who is like smoke? The one who was the old haggard woman cleaning the food. So this is her yantra. And now these goddesses, whatever they appear to be, like the first goddess is Kali, she looks very ferocious, killing somebody. But there are, if you look at her detailed mantras, there are some very kind aspects of Kali also. Similarly, when you look at the last of the goddess, the Kamala, which looks very sweet-faced, she has some very strong and very fearsome aspects of it also. So whatever they may appear to be, they have many lessons and many good things about them and blessings about them. This is the mantra for Dhumavati. Om Dhum Dhum Dhumavati Devyai Swaha. Om Dhum Dhum Dhumavati Devyai Swaha. Om Dhum Dhum Dhumavati Devyai Swaha. And a 7-syllable mantra. Baglamukhi is the goddess with the head of a crane. Her single syllable mantra is flame, flame, flame. And here's her yantra. Matangi. Here it is giving the mantra of Matangi. Om Hring Meng Bhagavati Mangateshwari Shri Swaha. Om Hring Yang Bhagavati Matangeshwari Shring Swaha. Om Hring Yang Bhagavati Matangeshwari Shring Swaha. And an 8-syllable mantra. Kamini Ranjini Swaha. Kamini Ranjini Swaha. Kamini Ranjini Swaha. The last is the Kamala goddess. And this is the goddess of wealth and prosperity. Among the 10 goddesses that we saw, she is the one who is not holding any weapon. She looks the prettiest. She looks most motherly. Blessings given. She is the goddess of wealth. And her mantra is commonly practiced. Om Hring Asht Mahalakshmi Namaha. Om Hring Asht Mahalakshmi Namaha. Om Hrim Asht Mahalakshmi Namaha. And a single syllable mantra, which is one of the most popular mantra in India. If you go to any shop in India, the cash box will have this mantra written on it. Everywhere you will find it in the last line. This is Shrim. Shrim. This mantra is written like this in Sanskrit. In every function which happens, when a child is born, the ceremony happens, weddings are done, wherever, when you buy a new car, when you go to temple, this mantra is the most common mantra, and it is Shrim. These were the slides which are about the mantra. Any questions or comments? I'll be happy to talk about them.